handhelds. One is the Anbernic RG477V, and the other is the AYANEO Pocket Vert, made by AYANEO. These two handhelds are currently the top digital consoles from their companies. The Vert starts at $269, and the RG477V at $239. Even with a 400 grand difference, I think they're still very much worth comparing, because nowadays most people choosing their ultimate digital handheld will pick one of these two. So next, let's explore what makes each of these handhelds truly shine, highlighting their exceptional features. First, a quick rundown of their specs. The RG477V sports a Dimensity 8300, and the AYANEO Pocket Vert is powered by a Snapdragon 8 Plus. Both run on the Android 14 platform. Looking purely at benchmark scores, the Snapdragon 8 Plus is a bit more powerful. For games on such handhelds, there's little difference. No one would use these for 16:9 Switch games, right? The RG477V screen is 4.7 inches, 1280x960, 4:3 ratio, 120 Hz refresh rate, an LTPS hard screen. This screen is Anbernic's signature 4:3 retro screen. It has high brightness, good colors, and the 120 Hz refresh rate can also reduce emulator input delay. The Vert uses the same 3.5-inch 10:9, 1600x1440 resolution, 60 Hz refresh rate, 450 nit brightness LCD screen as the analog pocket handheld. The most glaring flaw of this screen, right from the first look, is undoubtedly its incredibly wide bezels. When the machine was first announced, I thought AYANEO's tech could solve the wide bezel problem, but it seems they haven't cracked it yet. Its biggest selling point is its resolution, which perfectly 10 times pixel scales the GBC. Although the 10:9 aspect ratio won't fill the screen for many older games, its absurdly high resolution means you can forgo using various shaders. Comparing the screens, the 4.7 inch is much larger than 3.5 inch. The RG477V's brightness is 500 nits, just 50 nits higher than the Vert, but to my eyes, the difference is clearly over 50, maybe 100. Lowering the 477V's brightness to 75% makes them look similar. The 477V system can't adjust color temperature. The default color temperature is slightly warm. Vertical color temperature is adjustable, and with it matched, you can see its colors are a bit more saturated. Both screens showed similar color shifts as their tilt angles were adjusted, demonstrating comparable variations. Neither of the handheld consoles exhibit any particularly noticeable light bleed. On the 477V, when displaying white, you can observe a slight dimming along the edges. The AYANEO Pocket Vert screen shows an even milder version of this phenomenon, only becoming apparent when the viewing angle is significantly tilted. But look closely at its screen edge. This gap's wide, while here it's almost non-existent. The left gap is also wider, but the right is very narrow, making the screen slightly crooked. On the 477V, you see no screen edge gaps at all, so you don't wonder if the screen is centered. Next, we'll compare how various gaming platforms display on both screens. For GB, GBC, and GBA, a popular creator made an AP filter for the AYANEO Vert. Since it was adjusted for a cool tone, using it on the RG477V makes it appear very yellow. The effects vary greatly, so it's not comparable. I'll just apply the same filter settings. AYANEO Vert is 10 times pixel perfect. RG477V is 6 times. The 477V has a bezel mask, while the Vert has a border. I don't know which looks better. The one with the mask actually seems nicer. The 477V's pixel perfect display is also a bit larger than the Vert full screen. With both resolutions so high, you can't tell the difference in pixel effect. The only difference is that the AYANEO Pocket Vert blacks are deeper. My GBA here has its original screen, just with a backlight added. You can see the depth of the pixel colors is adjustable. Although the RG477V's colors are lighter with the same shader, you can just switch to a shader with deeper colors, so the difference between them isn't really that big. Both GBS to me are super pixelated and not very comfortable visually, but with such low resolution, the screen is too small and blinding, so it's a matter of personal preference. The GBC is very similar to the GB, still super pixelated. I really dislike this anti-glare screen's color, so I turned it off. The two distinctions are still that the 477V's pixels are a bit larger, and the Vert colors are deeper. Let's compare the original reflective screen with the AYANEO Vert AP style filter. This reflective screen is a bit difficult to film. To the naked eye, the Vert colors are indeed very faithful to the original screen, especially with the brightness turned all the way down, but the saturation is still quite high. While colors are accurate, the unique metallic sheen and eye-straining reflective screen can't be simulated. Let me put it this way, once the game resolution hits 5x or 6x, the shader effect makes basically no difference. Compared to 3x or 4x, it's a qualitative change. The main difference is screen size. Vertical screen is about the same size as the original, looking refined with less pixelation. The only issue is the large bezel, reducing the screen to body ratio. It's just better than the AP handheld, which can't even enable overlays. But the RG477V screen is too big. I've always felt that large, pixelated dot matrix screens can strain the eyes, mainly due to their lack of anti-aliasing. For a large GBA screen, using a CRT filter actually looks better than a dot matrix one. The screen edges look much softer. Besides, GBA games were originally meant to be played on a TV via the GameCube, so there's nothing wrong with playing them this way. Each device has unique GBA gaming strengths. The RG477V needs no introduction for other platforms. It just stretches everything to a big, satisfying 4:3 full screen. The Vert, with its 10:9 ratio, focuses on various overlay effects. FC, SFC, and PCE are special, offering a great screen-to-body ratio. You might wonder why these older 4:3 platforms show a pixel-perfect display. A taller, narrower form? Actually, that pixel-perfect ratio is correct. When these three platforms were displayed on a TV, the top and bottom of the game screen were cropped, and then it was shown in 4:3. Take the PCE for example. See how awkward the icon placement is? It's not at the bottom of the screen. That's because this bottom part isn't displayed on a TV, but the emulator shows it anyway. I also don't get why early game consoles displayed things like that. By the PS1 era, this issue was gone. Even with significant cropping, the PS1 scanline display still looks fantastic due to the high screen resolution. It's very close to a Trinitron scanline effect. The only issue is the small screen. The RG477V uniquely offers a 120Hz refresh rate over the Vert. In the all-in-one emulator, go to Video, then Sync, and you'll see a shader pointer. Open it, select the second option, and the screen will become smoother and more fluid, and latency will be further reduced. The most crucial aspect is reducing latency. Emulator handhelds invariably have some lag, which is why dedicated hardware handhelds are praised, so reducing latency is undoubtedly a significant advantage. Currently, this is the only retro ratio screen with a 120Hz refresh rate. Others are mostly 16:9. Now let's talk about the body. The RG477V has an impressive front screen to body ratio, featuring a seamless glass panel. The black model though really highlights fingerprints. If that bothers you, opt for a different color. And the rest of the device is made of black plastic, retaining that same matte texture. The top of the device is quite square, while the bottom has a rounded design, probably for a better grip feel. Both bottom corners are rounded, unlike the original Game Boy where only the bottom right corner was rounded. This makes the body look a bit chubby. Below the screen, D-pad, home back button, dual S buttons, A, B, and XY buttons, and 2 rear joysticks. This time, the D-pad surface has no texture, just a matte finish. The conductive pad is still perfectly soft and firm, feeling extremely comfortable with no noticeable ghosting. On the left, a front button and TF card slot. On the right, volume and power buttons. Bottom has stereo speakers and a 3.5mm jack. Top, charging port, video out, vent, power light. The back has 4 buttons using crisp-feeling micro switches. It has a middle air intake, bottom text, a 5500 mAh battery, and 27-watt charging. Its width prevents the RG477V from having that common discomfort of narrow vertical handhelds held too long. Personally, I feel the grip is very close to some of the smaller horizontal handhelds. Despite its large size, the RG477V doesn't feel heavy. Honestly, a vertical handheld with a large screen is just so satisfying. The screen feels huge. I'm not sure why horizontal handhelds just don't have that same feel. Many might still tolerate the 477H, but I think the 477V's size and decent grip could replace a horizontal handheld. You might even love it. The AYANEO Pocket Vert's screen-to-body ratio is a bit weaker. Its body is quite slender and boxy, yet the edges are softened to prevent any sharp cuts. The button design is unique. The transparent outer layer makes the buttons appear smaller. I don't know why, for a handheld console so focused on extreme retro style, AYANEO oddly opted for dome switches. This is AYANEO's first handheld without a conductive rubber pad. Luckily it feels like a DSi, so it's quite soft to press. Personally, I've always felt that dome and micro switches don't really mesh with a retro vibe. To achieve peak retro style, the AYANEO Pocket Vert completely ditched the joystick, replacing it with a hidden touchpad. AYANEO invested much thought into this, with a dedicated button on the bottom left to adjust its functions, which seems a bit much. Whether it's good or if people will use it after buying it, we all know the answer. Who likes poking glass? Frankly, this touchpad is unnecessary. Those who want it will buy it. As for a similar screen, the price is still around $2,000. The AYANEO Vert build quality and performance crush the Analog Pocket. The only drawback is the lack of cartridge support. I think very few Analog Pocket fans would say no to also getting a Vert. Honestly, AYANEO was bold to ditch the Vert joystick. Without a joystick, many platforms are limited, narrowing its customer base significantly. But those buying it for $2,000 likely have other devices. They'll just use another device for joystick platforms. The Vert is dedicated. The button in the middle is the dual S key. To its right, the menu button, and to its left, a customizable button. Below these, a very retro-style scroll volume wheel clicks audibly when you slide it. On the right, another custom button. Below, a fingerprint power button, TF card slot, and a top air vent. 2 stereo speakers, a 3.5mm headphone jack, and a TYPE-C port for 65-watt fast charging. The AYANEO Pocket Vert 6000M AH battery is 500 more than the 477V. On the back, there's a large air intake. This black part here is probably plastic. The shoulder buttons are quite distinctive, offering the tactile feel of a rather stiff microswitch. This is a unique feature. The transparent plastic shell feels very smooth, yet attracts fingerprints easily. It has an old 3DS shell texture, prone to scratches. The whole body, apart from the faceplate and fan, is CNC metal, feeling cool with a distinct texture. Grip is average, retaining that common long-hold hand fatigue of slab-style handhelds. Not very comfortable. Now let's take a closer look and make a detailed comparison of the physical size and overall aesthetic appearance of these two specific machines. I think the Vert has a better design. The 477V looks pretty regular, but the VIRT's metal body will turn many off, especially in winter. It gets freezing. Playing GBC or GBA, the processor barely warms. A plastic version would be great. Now let's compare the fan noise levels of these two devices side by side. The speakers on both devices are at the bottom and too close together, making the stereo effect less noticeable. I really don't like this speaker design. The analog pocket speakers are on the top sides. Their sound quality and stereo effect are the best I've experienced on any slab handheld, even outperforming most horizontal handhelds. Speaker sound quality is hard to compare. I just think the VIRT is louder. AYANEO clearly has the superior system experience. Take this A button for example. Just one press brings up a menu where you can adjust all sorts of functions, switch performance modes, check the current device status, and adjust vibration intensity, screen brightness, volume, turn on Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and more. It's really comprehensive. Like most Android handhelds, the Anbernic uses a pull-down menu bar, which is a standard approach. You could actually tell from when I was playing music earlier. When playing music from a folder, the AYANEO opens a music player. The Anbernic. What even is this? Why is this icon so tiny? But the Anbernic does have its own unique charm, the Anbernic AI. It's truly well implemented now, even adeptly translating those notoriously difficult Japanese games. AYANEO's getting translation software soon. We'll have to wait and see what it's like. Since this video is long, I won't detail gaming. With these processors, emulators below Switch, PS3 or PS Vita are no issue. The RG477V can run both PS2 God of War games at a stable 2.5x frame rate for extended periods. Mapping a touchpad to a joystick is just too much, so I skipped PS2 emulation on the Vert. There's nothing to be done. No joystick means some platforms will inevitably be wasted. To sum up, the $400 difference isn't about performance, but positioning and exclusive experience. If your retro game library is mostly GB, GBC, GBA, you seek pixel-perfect reproduction, love refined retro design, and are willing to pay for an exclusive experience, then the AYANEO Pocket Vert is your ultimate device. If you need one machine for all your retro games, want a full experience with a big screen, high refresh and low latency, and also balance cost with grip comfort, then the RG477V is surely a more practical choice for most people.